Welcome to the Please Remain Calm podcast. I'm Ben Gonzalez. Over there is my brother.
I'm Daniel Gonzalez.
And we're back. It's a good day to be back.
Yeah, man. It feels like we haven't been here in forever.
Right?
The last time we were supposed to be here recording, actually, it was your day we were supposed to be recording next.
Yeah.
This is our guest. Might as well introduce our guest. Our guest today is Dave Wehnner. He's an engineer with the LA City Fire Department. Works in my battalion here. But we were supposed to record with you the day before we were supposed to record. All these riots popped off.
Yeah, that's right.
Welcome,
Dave.
right around here, too.
Yeah, right
Glad
around
you made
here.
it.
So, I was actually at work that night when all the protesting started. And for those of you that don't know or aren't from LA, we record this podcast on Wilshire in like the mid Wilshire district.
Yeah.
And that is right kind of at the epicenter
Middle
of
of
where
the shit. That's right. I forgot we were supposed to do a show right before that.
And I remember
Dave
texted me. He was like, "Hey, we're still doing this thing." And you texted me.
Yeah,
Do
because
you
the
wanna
day
continue?
before.
Yeah. You sure you want to record? And I'm like, let's see what's going on,
Yeah.
because they were still just protesting.
Yeah.
And then that night happened, that first night, and our engine company went there. We didn't get sent over there, thank God.
Yeah.
But our engine company was there. 63s was there. You weren't working at 63s that night, were you?
No.
And
95's
and then Dave called me. Dave texted me the next day. Hey, dude, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. My wife doesn't think it's a good idea. I go, yeah, it's probably not a good idea.
It was crazy here, man. Alex, the engineer, was sleeping here with a gun.
No shit.
Yeah, the whole night. Keeping watch.
Yeah.
Well,
fighting people off.
Didn't know where it was going to escalate to. I mean, you guys are a little young, but I was on the job in 92, April 29th, 1992.
This ain't his first riots rodeo.
So we didn't know what to expect, and so it's like,
Where were you working back then in 92? What station were you at?
Kind of down the street. I was at 92's Century City.
Okay.
Right. Our dad's OT station or something.
Yeah,
station.
they're
I know your
battalion
dad.
members.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, right on.
So, yeah, I was working the first night, so I didn't know what to expect, and then all of a sudden, hell breaks loose. But
Yeah, I just watched. There's a really good documentary on Netflix right now that just came out. Did you see that?
Let It Fall.
I did.
No. It's LA 92.
Yes.
I watched the other one, Let It Fall.
I haven't even heard.
Let
of
It Fall is good,
Really?
dude. Yeah.
But I watched that with the wife the other because I saw it somewhere
That one
advertised.
centers around Gates, right?
Yeah.
I saw that one.
But it showed the television footage from that first kind of spark off moment at
Right.
Florence and Normandy.
Right.
And we live in Inglewood.
Yeah.
Both of us live in
Yeah.
Inglewood.
It's down the street.
It's literally down the street from
Yeah, especially
our
from your house, dude. Yeah.
And I mean, we drove by it all
That
the
was
time.
me trying to make it sound like Daniel lives in the hood.
Yeah.
Real close to
Yeah, yeah.
Daniel's
We're on
house.
the right
You know what I
side of the
mean? Yeah, he
fence,
lives on top of Tom's Liquor.
But man, that was crazy. The video footage of like all the people, like they were just picking people out of their cars, random
yeah.
people as they're driving by on Florence and Normandy, hitting their cars with bricks and rocks. And then they
And
showed
then that dude from that worked at 57s went and pulled a guy and pulled him into his car and drove him to 57s.
Oh,
He was off duty. Yeah, you got to see.
I
the
never
other
even
one,
heard that
man.
story.
Yeah, his name's Donald George. I want to say. Yeah, maybe I'm messing up his name, but yeah, he in Let It Fall they interview him.
All right.
Yeah, it's a trip, man.
You were on Engine 92 or
Were
you on the truck or what?
Engine.
you
But,
still?
I mean, we all went
You're
out.
a fireman back then.
Yeah.
And then you just worked that first night and you were off on a 4-day or
No.
what?
Well, they held us over. Then
Yeah.
it was just there was just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay, but the first night, it's like we, went to our first structure fire in 58th district, your dad's district, and liquor store, and everybody just did everything normal because we didn't know what was coming.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden after that, you're up all night. You just go from one to another. But I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'm
just
sure there's a
knockdowns
lot.
only, right?
yeah, I mean, I know we're not going to talk about this, and stuff. But I mean, there was a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
you're
We're
there and you have people like saying, hey, you're not going to open that hydrant. It's like, nope, walk away. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff, but I mean,
Yeah, we might have to bring Dave back.
Yeah, we'll have to do a riots one. We'll bring Dad and
Yeah.
Dave back to talk
Yeah.
about it. But today we're going to talk about I work Venice Beach, and we get called to the beach all the time, man. I mean, Venice Beach is it's its own crazy little. It's almost like its own crazy
its own
little
city, yeah.
neighborhood.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? A lot of artists. There's a lot of drug abuse. There's a lot of drugs out there. You mix that with alcohol and the heat. the exercise that goes along with having to swim against currents and stuff like that in the ocean.
A lot of drug unabuse too, like just people just regularly on drugs having fun.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? But they're just in the mix.
Altered people, you know.
Yeah.
You mix that with the ocean and the currents and shit that happen out there, and we get called to the beach all the time, man.
Venice could literally be at any given time like 70% altered.
Oh,
And you don't even, you know what I mean?
easily. I think that's a conservative
Easy.
number, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, man. There's never been like a study on that. Like, what's like, you know what I mean? It's like right up there with skids.
And that's part of the reason why people like to visit.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there's always crazy shit going
exactly.
on. You know, crazy characters walking around and stuff like that. But
And yeah, you're kind of like the babysitter of
babysitter
of
of
the
the
crazy
whole town, dude.
Yeah, exactly. The
But
sheriff.
you know, the ocean's a dangerous place, dude. You mix all that stuff with you know, maybe not being in the right mode to be exercising and working against tides and stuff like that with the ocean. And then Venice itself, like where it sits, that little area right by like between the piers or right next to the pier where the breakwater is and stuff. It gets crazy right there. Like the waves,
Yeah, the water's weird
especially
there,
when there's
dude.
like weather coming in and stuff like that. That water right there is weird. You get a bunch of crazy riptides right there in Venice. And it happens, man. It happens to the best of us. I mean, we brought up Shag Gaspard in a previous
Years ago.
episode. You know, he's
So
you know,
so Dan, what happens? You haven't said what.
so well, you have probably a little bit more expertise. What can you describe?
But we're
Well,
talking,
let's say what we're going to talk about. Dave is doing a great job of hosting here with us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But what we're talking about is drownings.
We're talking about drowning.
Exactly.
And so the point that I was going to get to is it fucking happens to anybody, dude. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how good of a swimmer you are, all that stuff. You can get caught in a riptide and get sucked out. So I had a little story.
Well, yeah, I was going to say counterpoint here. Like, yeah, I've never had that happen. I've never even ran on a drowning, dude.
Oh,
Like,
no
I've had
shit.
nothing to do with drowning, so I can like, I'm going to be like more of a guest watching this thing.
Yeah, well,
You know
it's, I mean, it's all because of where I'm at, obviously,
Oh, yeah,
that we
for
run on
sure.
drownings.
Yeah.
And I'd say, dude, when we get called for a drowning, if they're not like out already by the time we get there, if they're still out looking for the person,
right.
or they haven't been rescued yet, or they come in and they're in cardiac arrest from a drowning, usually very few of those
Yeah, that's a
survive.
wrap, yeah.
Survive.
So later on, I'll talk about some stats.
Sure, perfect. But you know, like I said, it can happen to anybody, man. I took Bernie, my wife, and the boys down to Zihuatanejo, Mexico, last summer, and we're staying in this nice little villa right on the sand, dude. You know, private stretch of beach for these like condos and stuff like that were there, and you know, there's a swimming pool and then the sand and the beach, right? And the water was just crazy out there. It was too crazy. There was nobody on the sand, nobody out at the beach, nobody going in the water. And even asked the girl at the counter, like, is the beach always crazy like that? You know? And she goes, no, it's in like December, around those times it kind of dies down. She gave us some different months of the year where it's calm and you can go in the water and stuff like that. But we're out there swimming one morning. It's like 11 o'clock. I got like 2 margaritas in me and you know, a little buzz going on. And I'm looking out the waves and I'm thinking to myself, I just want to taste the salt, man. You know what I mean? I just want to like dive under a couple waves, taste the salt, feel the ocean. You know what I mean? Like be one with the earth. Like that's what I'm
Point
thinking.
Break all of a sudden.
Dude,
and
I'm
shit?
I'm feeling nice and warm and fuzzy. You know, I got my boys.
You sure you only had 2?
It might have been
Okay,
3 or
okay,
4,
all right.
but I got my offspring right there. You know, the family. I'm like, we're on vacation. I'm just like,
You're all feeling Mexico and shit, the motherland and shit.
I'm a good exactly, dude. I felt like I had a headdress on,
Yeah.
and so, and I'm a decent swimmer. You know, I'm not anything special, but I'm a strong swimmer. I feel comfortable in the ocean. We grew up in Venice. You know what I mean? Like we go to the beach all the time. We go to the beach all the time. I'm super comfortable.
Yeah, we
Body
knew how to swim.
surfing, all that stuff. So I run out there. I dive under a wave, and I'm still standing like kind of chest high water. I'm like, okay, sweet. Here comes another wave. Dive under that, pop up, and now I'm swimming. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, let me turn around, and I start to swim back, and nope. I start feeling that current pulling me out. I'm like, fuck. Okay, calm down, relax. It stops. Here comes another wave. I'm going to body surf this wave in. So I start. I missed the wave, but I sure spent a lot of energy trying to catch that stupid wave.
A lot of energy.
And then, so now I'm still swimming. Here comes another wave. Okay, I'm going to catch this one. As hard as I could possibly swim. Nope, missed that one too. Now I'm fucking tired. Okay. And now I'm thinking, I could feel the panic start to kick in a little bit. And I'm like, shit, I look over. I can't see my wife or my kids. I could see where like the patio is, where the pool was, but I couldn't see them. They must have been on the other side of the pool. Nobody out there, no lifeguards. And I could feel myself starting to panic. If you've never been panicked before, fuck panic, dude. That shit will take you over. So I kind of took a breath, calmed myself, said, okay, you're supposed to swim parallel to the shore, get out of this rip current. So I turn and I start swimming parallel. And I felt like I wasn't fucking going anywhere, dude. I felt like I was standing still trying to swim parallel. Now I really started.
Like you're like one of those infinity, endless pool
kind of,
things.
Dude. That's kind of what I felt like. And I'm exhausted now, and nobody can see me. And so it's all kind of going through my head at once. It's within minutes, dude. It's
2 minutes, 3 minutes?
No. I don't know. 5 minutes maybe. Yeah. But all that combined together, you know what I mean? Your heart racing because you're panicked. You're tired because you just exerted yourself. You're trying to figure out a way out of this situation. You don't really see one. There's nowhere to call for help, right? And so I'm like, holy shit, man. Well, then I got to I must have swam a little bit because I got to a part where it seemed like the waves were kind of coming almost from like a right angle at each other. And I got in and I said, fuck it, I'm going to try to catch this other wave coming in from this way. And I caught it a little bit. And I got to a point where my toes were stuck in the sand. And I felt the surge start coming back. I remember this. And I jammed my toes into the sand as deep as I could and was like paddling against the current. And I felt it stop. And then it surged back forward and it pushed me enough where I got my feet on the ground. And I walked up out of the water, dude. And I was like, and so I'm snot dripping out of my nose, you know, on the. And I walk back up to the pool, and Bernie's there with her drink, and the boys are jumping around, and I just sat down in a chair, and I'm like,
"Give me another margarita."
Yeah, exactly, man. Give me something harder. Give me a shot. And she turns and she looks at me and she goes, "Were you struggling out there a little bit?" I go, "Yeah, I was." She goes, "Oh, I thought I saw you kind of." I go, "You didn't think to come out there and run and see?" She goes, "I don't know what I would have done." And I go, "There's a whole."
Like, I'm on the phone with State Farm.
Yeah, man. And I go, "There's like a whole trash can of noodles for the pool." I go, "I don't know, take the whole trash can of noodles and swim out there, try to help me." But I got out of it, thank God. But I could very easily have died out there in this beach in Mexico because she would have been like, "What the hell? Where'd Danny go? Right. Oh shit!
He's having an affair."
Yeah.
Well, it's a silent death.
It's a silent death, man. And drownings in general. I mean, there's countless stories about guys on the job who have had drownings in their family or something like that, or have people almost drown where, you're sitting there talking at the pool, watching your kids right there.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, shit, where'd he go? Oh, shit, he's at the bottom, you know? So it's a dangerous thing, man.
Well, there are more kids that drown and more people that drown in pools than the ocean, but it's more dangerous in the ocean.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, definitely. It's a lot more unpredictable out there, but water safety
but
in
like
general,
it can
man.
just happen like in any situation. There's like pool parties, birthday parties,
anything,
and,
dude.
It's full of people,
well,
and you don't notice.
It's usually, stats are drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and some people just get in it because they don't know how to swim.
Right.
Okay, then there's trauma, and then there's also medical conditions, and people don't understand.
And people, and this is what I point out with Bernie all the time, because we have friends and family with pools, and we work a 24-hour shift. So I'm gone from home at least 10 days out of the month, usually 15 or so, half the month I'm gone. And a lot of times those pool parties fall on days where I'm at work. And I have to, it's like, I've been to enough drownings, okay, where I have to, and I know I don't have to remind her because she's a great mom and she thinks about all this shit too because she's in the medical field as well. Too, yeah. But for my own mental well-being, I always tell her, listen, you watch our boys. Watch them. Yeah. Nobody, don't say, hey, can you watch him in the pool? Watch them because nobody else is going to watch your kids like you're watching your kids. Mm-hmm. And it so easily can happen where you're distracted talking to somebody else at a party and the kid goes under. That can't swim. And it's silent. You can't hear it. So quick little side story on that too. We wind up going to a birthday party at one of our friends' house. Little kids all over the place and stuff like that. And I'm just kind of sitting back watching the pool. And they go to sing happy birthday. And everybody's at the table singing happy birthday. There's a little girl walking on the first step of the pool. And I'm back behind everybody. And I'm just watching this little girl. And everyone's up there watching. Bernie comes over walking to me and she goes, what, are you okay? What are you doing? I go, yeah, I'm just watching this little girl. She's making me nervous. And right when I said that, man, She takes a step and boop, under the water. And I yelled to because her grandma was right there, right at the top step, just standing right above the pool. I go, hey, get the little girl. And she turns around and grabbed the little girl. But if I had, not that I'm a hero or anything, but if I hadn't been there watching, everybody's had their back singing happy birthday. How long would that little girl have been underwater without anybody noticing? That's how easily it happens.
And then another thing on that too is teach your kids how to swim like as soon as they can. Like
dude.
A baby can be like 1 year old and know how to swim. Basically, like Lorenzo was like underwater, flapping, doing faster than me when he's like 2. Dude, you know what I mean? Like
there's videos all over the internet of those little kids flopping over on their backs, but you have to,
because drowning's real, man.
You have to, So let's get to
Dave.
The reason that we're here. Our guest Dave Wehnner had an emergency, a drowning emergency happen.
Okay, so a little background on me. Dave Wehnner. I work for LA City Engineer. This year I'll have 30 years on. The incident that I'll talk about actually happened in May of 2003. Okay.
6 months before I got on the job.
So I was still an engineer back then. So at Nines, which is downtown Skid Row. Anyways. So a little more background on me is I'm going to talk about an incident that I had in Hawaii where I was on vacation, and short of it is I drowned. Even though if you survive, it's considered a near drowning, but when you have CPR done on you and all this other stuff, which I'll get into more later on.
But it was a complete drowning.
Yes.
You had to be revived.
All right. So I mean, and I haven't told this story that much, but some of my close friends, I've talked about it because usually I'm kind of private. But Dan kind of talked me into this, and my wife said it was okay, and it's been years. Okay,
yeah, appreciate you.
And I only knew about this story. It's funny that you mentioned Nines because I got off probation, went to Nines. This is April of 2004, and you worked the sod day there.
And I was still there
in 2004.
Yeah,
you must have been just leaving then or something. No. Anyway, you worked you weren't on my shift for sure.
Yes.
It was a long time ago. Yeah. But somebody goes, we're at dinner, and somebody goes, hey, you heard his story about him? What's going, and then it kind of
usually, hey, did you hear Wayner's story about finding Nemo?
Yeah.
I never found Nemo, no.
But go ahead.
Anyways, I am a certified diver. I've been certified, 35 years or more. I've been snorkeling for even longer than that. I grew up in Japan, actually, some of it on Okinawa, so I dove, I snorkeling all the time there. I've dove Great Barrier Reef, Fiji, Japan, here. I mean, so I've got some.
Yeah, you got experience.
Yeah.
You're no stranger to the ocean.
Man's been diving
in the water.
Yeah.
Okay, and I live in San Clemente. I got a couple boards, couple paddle boards. I'm not no expert. Okay, I fall gracefully, as they say.
Yeah.
But I know the waters. Okay, but there's still a lot of stuff a lot of factors. Okay, and in my case, everything kind of was aligned up. All right, so. We're on vacation in Hawaii, which we go to quite often. Okay, I'm fortunate because my wife's parents have a timeshare and just pay for a ticket.
Right on, right on.
And they take good care of us. Anyways, we go to Maui quite often and go to the same bay, Napili Bay.
Okay.
Very, very
Beautiful.
nice bay. Yeah. They said it's like one of the most family-friendly bays now, so now it gets a lot more crowded. But okay. So. Sometimes, though, we go to other islands and take a puddle jumper, to go over there or something like that, and in this case, that's what we did. So we went to Kona, which is a big island.
Yeah.
Okay, now islands are usually formed two ways, volcanic and coral. Okay.
Sure.
So coral is nice sandy beaches. Volcanic can be real jagged. Kona is real jagged. Okay. So we were there. My kids, let's see, 03. So one is 3 years old, and the other one is 7 to 8 years old.
Okay.
So the 3-year-old, I really didn't take out too much. Right. But my older one really liked to snorkel. He's into animals, stuff like that, into the ocean. So in Kona, we would go out. But since it's coral or a volcanic island, it's very jagged and very sharp.
Sure.
Okay. So when I had my fins on, it would be cutting through.
Oh, wow.
All right. So my feet were cut up. It's like, I didn't like that at all. Right. So I actually just wore booties. So
Little reef walkers.
Yeah, because
yeah.
I could walk on it and feel pretty good. All right. So we wouldn't go out that far. Okay. So, but my feet were already cut up. All right. So we had a good time there. Now we go over to Maui and my feet are kind of still cut up. All right. So I don't know. I can't tell you how much we were into the vacation at the time, to tell you the truth. Okay. Because, you know, sometimes we'll stay there a week. We have a 2-week timeshare.
Okay.
So it's the middle of the day. And maybe towards the evening a little bit. So it's a nice bay. I know the bay pretty well. You know, there's actually some way out. There's some rocks and stuff like that. So some low spots.
Sure.
And so my kid was inexperienced. So he had a floatie with him. Okay, so we're out there snorkeling for, I'm going to say, pretty much 45 minutes to an hour. So it was a little while. Okay.
Yeah.
So he wanted to see more, so we went out a little further. But in Hawaii, storms come up just like that.
Right.
Okay. Next thing I know, I look up and it's like really gray and it's starting to get real choppy. Okay. So it's like, hey, you know, my older son, hey, Dylan, let's go in. All right. So we start to come in, and all of a sudden, a gust of wind comes up and it takes his floatie and it's gone.
Oh, no shit.
Okay. So, and then it knocks his mask off. All right. So, and since I was out there, I didn't have fins on. One mistake. Okay. So now I'm trying to hold him up and tread water and kind of hold him up and using one arm and my legs.
He doesn't swim?
He does, but he, you know, as a parent, it's like, okay,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, hey,
Plus the water's choppy.
right.
Yeah.
So hey,
Right.
hey, Dylan, we want to get this mask and snorkel on. So he's trying to get it on while I hold him up. It's not working.
Sure.
All right. So I said, hey, get on my back. Okay. So now I'm treading water for the both of us.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not working.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm getting extremely fatigued.
How far out are you?
I'm probably about 100 yards or more.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
man.
I'm a little
Man.
distance because like I said, we went out further. Okay, so
Right.
it's almost at the opening of the bay. All right.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I know where the low spot, the rocks are, but it's against the current. I try to go against it. It's not working. I'm getting more fatigued, right, while I'm holding them up. So I, being a fireman, hopefully, or just being a normal person maybe, I knew I was in trouble, so I called for help.
Okay.
So I'm in the water, and I'm like, help, help.
And your wife and your other kids are
I can see my
there?
wife
Okay.
and her parents and there. No one can hear me. At least that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So put that on the back burner.
'Kay.
Okay. So now I am trying to do the cycle over again, and it's just not working. And I'm getting very, very fatigued now, where I cannot tread water anymore. So
How much time had passed since you realized you had an issue to this moment?
I'm gonna say 6, 7, 8 minutes
Yeah.
maybe. Okay. Where I
It's
was
a long time.
trying to do a few things.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
And this is true. All this stuff, I'm not making shit up. But I was so fatigued at the time. I told my kid, I said, "Hey, I can't stay up, and I'm sorry." And I'll tell you, this is what this is what went through my mind. Okay, and it'll be different mindsets for different people, right?
Sure.
Right.
But I actually felt sorry for my family, not for me.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like, okay, I'm gonna die here. I know I'm going to die.
And that's in less than 10 minutes.
Okay, well, we've been
being
out
out
there
there.
for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean of struggling, of
Right,
treading water
but I'm
with him on
just
your
so
back.
fatigued.
Right.
Okay, and I just felt like I'm leaving my family, and I just felt really bad for my wife and my kids more than anything else. I know that sounds kind of weird, maybe.
No.
But
Kind of just reserved
but
yourself to what was happening.
I
yeah.
guarantee you won't know what's going to go through your mind unless you're in a situation where you're like that. Like I said, people are going to think different thoughts. So I went under, and I'll tell you, you watch the movies like someone's drowning and they're like, oh. Okay, at least for me, no. And a lot of people aren't going to like this from what I'm going to say in the next couple of sentences here, but once you go under, water goes in, air comes out, there's no gagging. And your body is just floating in this clear water, but your mind is still awake.
Whoa.
The part that people aren't going to like, what I'm going to say is it's very euphoric.
Okay, that makes sense, though.
And other people that have survived said that it's something like being in your mother's womb. Okay,
so you're conscious, knowing that you're not breathing anymore.
Right.
Wow.
Okay, so eventually, I get to a point where you're kind of just falling asleep, is what it is. Okay, now numbers wise, people that drown, like I did, where they have to have resuscitation, it's less than 1%, way less than 1% that actually survive. Okay?
Well, the aspiration.
In Hawaii, okay, there are no lifeguards. Okay, the beaches are owned by the government. You can be at a resort and there might be a lifeguard there, but the resort puts them there.
Right.
Now, there are some where there's some real popular beaches that are government beaches that they put something, right? But they just don't have enough to do that. So there is no lifeguard there.
Sure.
Okay, even though there are a few resorts right there. Anyways, so I fall asleep, right? And I was out. The next thing that I remember is being loaded into the ambulance.
Oh,
because
wow.
we've done that a gazillion times.
Sure.
All right. So I'm on a gurney and I'm and I wake up. And
intubated?
No.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Because that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay? So what was weird was that.
Hold on. For those that don't know, intubated would be what we do when we're going to breathe for someone. We put a tube down their throat. The paramedic will lay someone on their back, visualize the vocal cords, and put an actual tube down there. And a balloon blows up in the airway and the trachea to block everything else out. So nothing else can get in there but the air that we're putting in.
So you have to bag.
You have to bag,
okay, unless there's a mechanical thing. Right?
Correct.
Hey, so I'm sorry. When you woke up, did you gasp?
Okay, so when I woke up, what was strange was that my mind, I felt was like right now, it was really sharp. Now, okay, so let me backtrack here. All right. So what happened was, since I called for help, all right, and I could see that no one was, your voice travels up. Someone on a second story of the condos heard me.
What?
Whoa.
Okay. That person, okay, their last name is Adams. Okay, I'm not going to, they're actually from San Clemente.
Oh, no shit.
No way.
They have a few places there. So they
Did you live in San Clemente at the time?
Yes.
No shit.
Okay. So they have a few places there. They go there all the time, right? Well, since they're there all the time, they knew a local. So they called down to Mitch, I think it was his name, and they said, "Hey, guy needs help out there," right? So he's a local. He grabs a boogie board and goes out there. So this is what they told me, because
Mitch was the 911.
Kind of. Okay. So like I said, there's a lot of little things to the story that are where the stars were aligned. So Mitch comes out and finds my kid because he's actually still treading water.
Okay.
Thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
So he throws him a boogie
Poor
board, and my kid, I guess, says, "Hey, my dad left me." Okay. And Mitch says, like, "Well, where do you think he is?" He's like, and this is for him to come out, swim out 100 yards. It took a little time. So for sake of God, he looks down, does find me. I'm down, he said, about 15 feet. Okay. So I'm just
down
floating,
there.
right? So he comes up and grabs me, okay, hauls me in. There just happened to be two nurses on the shore. Okay. Dragged me in. They did CPR on me. Okay. So AMR shows up with the fire department.
Sure.
Okay. So like I said, I woke up and I'm being loaded into the ambulance. Okay. And I'm trying to get my bearings of like what just happened.
Sure.
Okay. So now I'm figuring it out. My wife is in the front seat with the AMR. Okay. Now AMR does 1 and 1. So they do 1 EMT, 1 paramedic.
Right.
Okay. So not much is done on me at that time. Okay. All I know is that I'm in a world of hurt because every cell in your body has been deprived of oxygen.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you would not believe.
Yeah.
Okay, you talk about pain, like someplace like breaking your arm,
Yeah.
but your whole body. Okay, but my mind, I don't know why, is sharp. I understand what's going on. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm actually breathing, but my lungs are full. So when I'm talking, I'm talking.
Right.
Because you can only get so much air.
Because my tidal
Move
volume
anything,
is very short. Okay?
No expansion.
All right,
yeah.
no expansion. All right. So
Which is one of the reasons why when we get a drowning, we'll put them on a CPAP to force that air in there.
Yeah.
but
force
see, that,
open those
but that
alveoli.
wasn't available.
In 03 in Hawaii.
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
that's true.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yes.
nowadays, just real quick, CPAP basically it's a pressurized mask that we put on.
Right.
It straps tightly to your face, right here, and it forces air in there. So when you go to take a breath, it's not your body struggling to suck that air in. It's being forced in there. And what that helps do is it helps displace some of that water and fluid.
Right.
And we'll do it with CHF patients too that have like blood backed up in their lungs. It forces that air into those alveoli and that liquid back into your body and out of your lungs so you can start getting that gas.
You guys have had it
exchange
for
again.
like 4 years? Or so, or longer?
Probably a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
6-7 years, something like that. But anyway, go ahead.
All right. So now we're in Maui. It's actually 2 islands if you don't know. Okay. So Maui Memorial is right in the middle. Okay. From Napili Bay, even driving emergency, it's going to be 35 to 40-minute drive.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm breathing somewhat. Okay.
Yeah.
So he slaps an O2 mask on me. And I'm just in a world of hurt. Okay. And I keep like taking the mask off. So the guy says to me, if you don't keep that mask on, I'm going to have the driver pull over. I'm going to intubate you. And then I look around, and it's only him in the back. So I'm going to fast forward just a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. So at that time, Kauai Fire Department, you know how many EMTs there are?
Tell me. None, huh?
None of them are EMTs.
No
Wow.
shit.
So they don't when they come, okay, they're there for like a technical rescue kind of thing, if anything.
Yeah.
Okay. But they do
Not doing
do
anything.
not get in the back of the ambulance. Okay.
Wow.
So so
Ed, if you're listening, you
so
said
there's more
0,
people that drown in Hawaii than anywhere in the United States by far. Okay, because they average 1 a week.
Yeah.
Okay, which is quite a bit actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
You get so many visitors too, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
So he so he puts the mask back on me, right? And I take it off again,
Yeah.
right? And so he tells the driver to pull over and he's going to intubate me, right? And I notice that my wife is up there, right? So somehow I said this because okay, and I told him that you cannot intubate a conscious person with a gag reflex. I said
Wow.
that, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know how long it
One
took me.
syllable at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the guy looks at me and he knows that I know something.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
Okay. So he puts it together. I said. So we came to a compromise. Okay. So I'm kind of in a fetal position and I have the mask in my hand, and I would hold it up
Blow
like
by.
something like
Yeah.
this, rather than have it strapped to me and I
Right.
would get some blow by. Pretty
Yeah.
much what it
Yeah.
is. So he was okay with that, and because
Yeah.
I just felt like I was suffocating even more.
Sure.
So.
And better that you guys are with such a long transport time that you guys keep freaking driving.
Yes.
You know.
Okay. So, like I said, there's a lot of little fingers to the story. So
Sure.
now we get to Maui Memorial, and the percentage of people that come in there, like me, is so small. I had a crap ton of doctors
Yeah.
that
I'm
came
sure.
in and talking
Yeah.
to me. Okay.
Sure.
I had religious people. I had people coming in. Hey, did you see the light? Because they knew that I was dead.
Oh,
Right.
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
interesting on all the people that came in that had nothing to do with my situation.
And this is in that first day, pretty much, because the
Yes.
story gets out right away.
Within the hospital, yes.
Right.
Okay. So I stay there, overnight.
Mhm.
Okay. They give me whatever meds to dry me out and
Sure.
stuff like that. Okay. So I get released. eventually. Okay, I'm still hurting pretty good.
Yeah.
Eventually, when I come back, to the States, I have to go and because I had talked to my station at the time, and then they wanted me to go see a doctor here and this and that.
Yeah,
so,
I wonder how long you were off. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that long.
Really?
Okay, but once they dried me out, okay, I stayed off a few more shifts.
How long was that pain though? That overall body ache?
Once
bends kind of
I don't
thing?
know all the meds they give me, okay, and stuff like that. But it's there wasn't permanent damage. There probably was a little bit of permanent brain damage, but luckily, if I recovered fairly quick, and they were like kind of like, wow, hey, this is pretty good.
You're a concert violinist now out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right? I speak 5 languages.
That's so weird.
So I did get together eventually with the people that rescued me, there, and then in San Clemente too, stuff like that.
How long did they estimate that you were actually under?
Probably at least a good 5 or 6 minutes for him to recognize and then swim out there and then actually find me.
Man.
And then having to swim and pull me in.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it was still choppy sea storm conditions when he went out to get you?
Probably not.
It might have passed through
because
by then?
because I don't, like I said.
Yeah, they get those squalls that come and go, or just
I mean,
skip by the island.
Right.
And you catch
It'll
like
rain
the edge
for
of it.
10 minutes or something.
Right.
It'll be gone. And it'll be all sunny.
Was he like a surfer? Was he like just a regular old Hawaii dude?
Just random guys like that
all those
just
guys
walking
swim.
around
Yeah,
Hawaii.
he was there.
Yeah.
He was there actually visiting, the Adams, because he's a local guy. And
Oh,
and
okay,
He was
okay.
he was there visiting with them because I guess they're
Like
they're
Sean
friends and stuff.
Astin and
Yeah.
51st Dates.
Okay.
Yeah, just came up, pulled him out of the water, man.
So one thing I did, I educated myself a little bit. So when I came back here to the States, I had a buddy that used to be a lifeguard.
Okay.
Right. So I asked him, it's like, hey, what did I do wrong? What should I have done? Or did, okay. What he told me was like with the lifeguards, they go out and if someone is just like really flailing, okay, what you can do is you put them on their back and you can just dunk them. Okay. It's like, hey, I got your attention, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I should have did with my son, okay, is that I should have put him on his back, okay, like a starfish, and then swam in with one arm.
Was your son panicking at the time too?
A little bit, but I felt like into the conditions and where we were, swimming in, he wasn't strong enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously he was strong enough to stay afloat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
You put more of that
Poor-
pressure on yourself
right.
that you
And
really need to.
He's my oldest. He's 7
Sure.
years old. So as a parent, if you are parents, you're learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And
And we talked about that when we talked about Shad Gaspard.
Yeah.
Just the added stress of having your kid out there.
Yeah.
How much
exactly.
more does that exhaust you?
Trying to hold him up.
Trying
So,
to save yourself.
one little thing at the end of the story. Let me just check some notes here. I want to make sure I kind of covered everything.
Dave, an A+ guest. You know what I mean?
He
Bringing
came in
notes.
prepared, dude.
Okay, so
Steering
now
us in the right direction.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Also, the fastest we ever got a guest on that, like, into the show.
Yeah, I'm
You know
glad we
what I mean?
did.
Yeah.
So I did some stats, okay, about like, how many people drowned. I kind of educated myself there. Like Kauai Fire Department now, they are all EMTs.
Yeah.
Okay, so that obviously helps out. Okay. One little thing that happened, Dan was asking me, hey, when did this happen? And was there anything written? Well, back then I didn't really pay attention that much to it, right?
Right.
There wasn't even smartphones around probably then. So my next door neighbor, my very next door neighbor, his name is Vinny, okay? He gets his master's from San Diego, okay? So he's having a party, all right? So, I'm over there, and his sister, which I can't remember her name, said, hey, I'm Dave. And, oh, I'm, Vinny's sister. Oh, yeah, okay, well, where are you from, or where do you live? Oh, I live in Maui.
Uh-huh.
Really?
I got a story for you.
So what do you do there? Well, I work at Maui Memorial.
Wow.
I said, really? I said, you know what? Because I'm used to the EMS system here, okay,
Yeah.
which, okay, we live in LA and we do it day in and day out. And you know what? Me personally, from what I see out there, and I'm not saying that there's bad stuff out there, but I think we have a really good EMS
Pretty good
system
system,
here,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
So I said to her, I was like, your EMS system, and she stops me. She says, oh, it sucks. Because the fire department aren't EMTs. So they pretty much, a lot of people die. If you're having a heart attack, okay, you know, you have one medic and one EMT. So they're relying on mechanical stuff and time for you to get from point A to point B, and there's only one hospital.
Yeah.
You know, and she's kind of telling me all this stuff, right? And
this is how long after? I mean, when was this conversation happening? Comparison.
I gotta think about when Vinny got his master's. I'm gonna say, you know, 4 or 5 years after.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, and she and I said, "You're right. You know, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is that the EMS system there? I just didn't care for it." And she asked me why.
Yeah.
Right. I said, "Well, I had an incident there. You know, blah blah blah." And she looks at me and she's like,
"You're the guy.
You're the one."
The
that
miracle
was
man.
almost like those were her exact words. She looks at me like, "You're the one." I was like, "I'm the one what?" She says, "You're a survivor." Okay. I guess there was some stuff written because of stats. Okay. Because I'm the less than 1%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And she said that, you know, a lot of people came to the hospital after I was gone and wanted to interview me and all this stuff, but there were some stuff written about it and things like that about my incident because, you know, the
It was the
survivability.
ocean. Yeah. I mean, I've never heard of somebody get pulled out of the ocean, drowned, revived, back.
Yeah, man.
Sitting, talking.
It's rare.
Yeah.
Well, when someone actually doesn't have a pulse
Right.
and is, you know, because, you know, if you survive, you know, it's like a near drown. Because a lot of times when we go on those, you know, the person is coughing, you know, they're coughing up. Okay, so they have a pulse. But someone that's actually been underwater, submerged, and dead, it's very, very rare. So, I mean, I feel very fortunate, obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, I learned, you know, all the stars aligned. Okay, if I was wearing fins, it would have been totally different. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Okay, because I like I said,
lot easier to
I'm
tread.
very,
To swim and tread,
very
yeah.
experienced. I could tread water for 2 people easily
Sure.
if I had to. Okay, plus obviously you could swim in a lot faster, and you can also go against riptides if you had to.
Yeah.
In the right conditions and stuff like
And
that.
exerting less energy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fins is definitely. So I've learned. Okay, even if my feet are cut up, I'm going to wear booties with fins over them and things like that. Okay, I don't care if, you know, like my kids now are, you know, he's 23 now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. So even if I'm out with whoever, because I've learned like someone could be saving you, you could be saving somebody, things like that, where, you know, wear the proper equipment.
Yeah. Be prepared.
Yeah, be
You know.
Because it
Always
was
be
like
prepared.
a perfect storm, and then the perfect storm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you or ask you about the feeling of euphoria. How long did that last? Like, was there a period where you had it?
Well, the reason that I say that is because, like I said, in the movies, you always see like people like gagging. And
Right.
But, you know, it's different. Like, you know, if someone's sticking your head in a tub, then if you're tired is one thing. All right. But as soon as you go under, like I said, there's no blockage. Water goes in, and we know that the water displaces the oxygen.
Yeah.
Okay, or the air, right?
Right.
So boom, it's out, and all of a sudden, it's not like your body's trying to breathe. It didn't work that
feel
way
like
for
suffocating
me.
or anything.
And some of it might have been because I was so tired. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I was just, you know, floating, because now, you know, it's not like I'm standing still.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're in water and you're just floating down, and I think that's part of it. I mean, like I said, I hate to say things like that because, you know, people are like, ooh, wow,
People have
I'm
emotional
gonna-
reactions.
It's
if I'm
also
gonna-
something
if
that
I'm going to
people
kill
don't
myself, you
experience.
know, I'm going to go drown myself.
But they
right?
talk about like, did you feel like your life, like how they say your life flashed before your eyes? Because they do say that your brain lets out chemicals. I mean,
Yes,
dimethyltryptamine from your
but
pineal gland and stuff like that when you're
Well,
dying.
I was
and-
thinking about my family more than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because I work hard like we all do to usually to, you grow up a certain way. Okay, no matter how much you grow up, when you have a family, you try to make them have a better life than when you were.
Sure.
Usually,
Yeah,
and
it's like
not
the
that I had a bad childhood. My dad was in the military. I was adopted. My dad was in the military. I grew up with him. Okay, I love my dad, and I think he did a great job. But financial wise, it wasn't real huge. So I mean, it's like
you always try to do better.
We always try to do better. So that's what went through my mind was my family. I mean, I don't think you can control what you're when you're in that situation.
Yeah.
What's going to go through your mind?
Right.
Yeah.
But you have like a distinct memory of being conscious, not breathing, just floating in the ocean, under the ocean.
Yes, because like I said, when I woke up, it was very odd that my mind was very aware. Some of it might be because I'm very familiar with the back of an ambulance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was a fireman at that
old-
time,
yeah.
and I rode an 800 for 800 is the EMT ambulance for 13 years.
Yeah.
Before I promoted engineer. So that might have helped as far as like, okay,
Click
hey,
in.
the situation, like, okay, hey, I recognized this.
That's funny because
okay.
I remember I went under for surgery, and the first thing waking up was just knowing that I was on the bed, and I just adjusted the hospital bed so I could sit myself up.
Yeah.
And then the nurse was like, "Is he awake?" He goes, "Oh, he just sat himself up." Yeah. But that was the thing. Like, I just a familiar thing clicks in, and that's the thing that kind of like wakes you
the
up.
brain, man. It's a funky thing.
Yeah. So that's my story. I haven't told it a whole bunch.
It's an amazing story.
But I do feel fortunate, and I'm still here.
When did your wife and her parents and stuff realize that you were actually being rescued? Because she didn't hear you
they
calling
saw
for
Mitch
help,
Yeah.
right?
flying
So I think I should have probably talked to her a little more about this, but she knew that something was happening out there, and then when she realized it was my son out there, and then when the guy hauls me in, and then when the guy hauls me in, she knows that that's me right there. Obviously, okay, it wasn't like, oh, who is that?
Yeah.
That's she knew, kind of right away.
How was your son affected afterwards? Did he have any
No, he was a little too young, okay, to quite understand.
Yeah, just
because of what he
came
said
to losing you, basically.
to Mitch, my dad just left me.
Yeah.
Where like I said, when you're, even when you're like 6, 7, they're still pretty young to understand stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but if he had been older, we might not be in that situation. Okay, but like my younger one, I would never take him out that far. So it's just, but him,
and he doesn't even remember this
oh
whole
no,
event,
he does.
Yeah,
he remembers the situation. He obviously doesn't remember the details. Okay, so I mean, I don't blame him or anything like that. It's just I blame myself for what led up to it. Okay.
How long did it take you before you went back in the water and felt comfortable back in there? Or was that
okay? So not very long, really, because like I said, I still feel pretty comfortable. But we still go to Napili. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, we still go there every 2 years. Matter of fact, we were supposed to be there in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
right.
We're going next month.
Well, they just lifted the ban there.
But
August 1st, hopefully.
Yes. Well, so you got to get a temperature. It's got to be good for 3 days. You got to get tested, all that stuff, right?
We're going through planning all that
So
stuff right now.
we go there quite often, and then the next time that we went there, it's like whenever I went in the water, like all eyes were on me.
Yeah.
But did I feel like uncomfortable, like, oh, I'm scared to go in the water? No, I did not. Just because I still feel a little experience. I'm not going to let something like that, frighten me, I guess you'd say.
Or keep you from something you love.
Right.
In your life.
And that's the thing is I freaking love the ocean.
Yeah, it's still part of your life.
Oh,
with all the time that you said you've been a diver for a long time and snorkeling, for over 30, 40 years. Had you ever had any incidents even close to this where you?
The only time I actually did was when I lived in Texas, the storms there.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was a kid, I got swept away into a river.
Oh, wow.
But I wasn't diving or snorkeling, right? But luckily, my brother kind of pulled me from my hair, with my hair because I'm digging into and kind of pulled me out. But
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't obviously anything like this. Where like if that wouldn't, I could have.
Yeah.
Just like kind of your situation where it
could have gotten a lot worse.
right,
Yeah.
Right.
rather than in this case where it really did. But there could have been a lot of things. If it was probably overcast, you might not have saw me.
Man.
Okay, because soon as because the ocean only takes the color of the sky.
Right.
Right. So if it's clear enough where he saw me, there's people that knew how to do CPR. So there's a
everything
lot of
came
things.
together.
Yeah. So
Do you still talk to Mitch? Do you know where he is now?
no, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, life moves.
Yeah, life moves
on,
on, man.
Yeah.
It's
and
a
stuff like
moment
that.
in
I mean,
time.
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? Life,
guy
I'm
that
getting
happened to
closer
be
to
there.
retirement, and you know what? Life just doesn't slow down.
Yeah.
So,
Say that again.
It yeah, I think the big takeaway from this episode is always try to be as prepared as you can when you're going to be in a situation where things like this happen, and going in the water, any fucking water,
Yeah.
swimming pool, the ocean especially, but we just went to
Especially the ocean.
we just went to Havasu last week. The river, lakes,
well,
camping.
that one incident you guys had in Venice, right? The wrestler or something.
Yeah, Shad Gaspard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, because I used to be assigned there a dozen years ago, and I used to see people like dressed like this.
Yeah.
Go to the ocean and like they're looking out, and all of a sudden they'll just dive in. So one day I was like real curious. It's like, so I went up to it's like, why are you doing this? Oh, well, I live in Montana and I've never touched the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to realize that there's some people that live
Yeah.
that have never seen the
Yep.
ocean, actually seen it, other countries, right? So they want to go in. So they don't understand. And I've had a couple where they go in, whack, and they
Yep.
get a spinal injury and stuff like that. So I think educating yourself is huge.
Yeah.
Educate yourself. Be prepared when you put yourself in any dangerous or potentially dangerous situation, but especially when it comes to water. And watch your kids. Watch your kids. Even something as stupid as I just warned somebody about this. The heck were we? We were someplace. There's a bucket, a paint bucket of water filled with water. The guy was watering his plants, but there was a little kid in diapers running around. Even those things, you'll see they got a warning on them.
Yeah.
Watch the kids. Your kids can go in and try to reach for something at the bottom. They flip upside down and that thing drown. Just water, man.
Yeah.
Drownings happen all the
Isn't it
fucking
like
time.
a foot of water you can drown in, or 6
Oh,
inches or
less than
something?
that.
Yeah,
Easily,
less than,
dude.
right? Yeah.
Easily. And you just have to be aware of the danger that exists around water all the time. And I'd say the majority of the drowning calls that I've been on over my career, when you talk about and you find out what the whole because you always want to try to get a full story of what happened.
Yeah.
So when you get to the hospital, you give them a big picture of what happened with the call. But a lot of them are avoidable. Avoidable just by watching your kids, basically. But thank you so much for coming in
Oh,
and
yeah.
talking
That was
about it, man.
amazing.
I know it's a difficult thing to talk about, and you haven't told the story a lot. And
Well, time,
no.
Usually because I'm very, I'm not real outgoing when it comes to stuff.
He's
like
a pretty
that, so.
quiet guy.
That's a
dude.
hell
I
of a-
was,
that's a
I
hell
was
of
a
a
little,
story, Dave.
I was a little hesitant to even ask if he wanted to talk about this, but and he took time to think about it and talk
Yeah.
about it with his wife, which I can
Yeah.
definitely appreciate. But it's a great story.
And
I think it
even
made a great
rescheduled,
episode. What you got? You got anything else?
Yeah, just a little bit of notes at the end. But yeah, thank you, Dave. That was
Thanks
that
for
was
inviting me.
amazing.
Thank you so much,
And
man.
yeah, you can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher. Watch us on YouTube. We're
Seek
putting
us
up
out.
new clips.
Yeah, search us out and subscribe, like. If you enjoy the episode, comment on it.
Yep.
If you don't like it, keep it
email
to
us
yourself.
now. We have contact prcpod@gmail.com if you want to suggest shit, yell at us, complain.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DannyGonzo34.
You can follow me at Ben9Humor, Ben number 9 Humor, like benign tumor. You can
And
follow.
Go ahead.
Yeah, tell.
Follow the
Yeah.
podcast at PRC Pod on Instagram and Twitter.
And the other thing is we have merch now. We have hot new T-shirts. Please remain calm. PRC Podcast T-shirts, $20. Hit us up. You can Venmo me or Daniel, and we will get you one right away.
Yeah.
Do we bring one for Dave?
I did, yeah. I already
We
gave
did
it to him
too.
as soon as
Dave
possible.
already got his. That's how you get on here. If you give us a good suggestion in the email, we might hit you with one. Get hit with one. Share us a bunch of times. Write reviews. We might hit you with one. I don't know.
Just
Yeah.
if you like the podcast,
Yeah.
spread the word. The more viewership we get, the better it is, and we can keep doing this for longer. So
Yep. It's
that's
cool.
all we got. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Dave. We'll see you guys.
All right, thanks.